Hey everybody, this is Matty Ray and the name of my show is State Raised. Now, before I get into all the incarcerations, I gotta give you a background story about myself. I was born and raised in Jersey City Heights, that's in between Newark and New York. And around 7th grade, all of us, like 20, 25 of us used to hang out in Mosquito Park, a park that was right on Kennedy Boulevard. It's overlooking the actual street. So, being at that age, the most important thing to a kid is who's the toughest, who does the craziest things. But we took it to another level. We had no repercussions. Anytime we got arrested for doing stupid stuff, the police would just bring us down to 8 area, put us all in a bullpen, and call one of our mothers. One of our mothers would come down and they would release all of us to that one parent and we'd go home. So literally there was no, if you got in trouble, that was it. The worst thing that happened to us was we got yelled at by our parents. No jail, nothing, no repercussions for what we were doing. So that just was giving us a cause to go insane. And you got to remember, we're 14, 15 years old, and like I said, at that age, you always you want to one up your friend. You want to be the craziest. You want to be the best fighter. Who did the craziest thing? So we used to play this game in Mosquito Park, where we'd pick a number from 1 through 10. And I would always pick, whatever number I picked, it would always be a police car. So let's say I picked 4. The 4th car that drove past, no matter what the car was, I'd have to throw a brick through the window. And I swear to you, every time, whatever number I picked, it was always a Jersey City police car. So I'd pick 6, the 6th car that passed, the Jersey City police car. I have a brick, I throw the brick through the window. All of us taking off into all directions in Mosquito Park. We have escape routes everywhere, so we would never get caught. The police tried to surround the park a million times and then, like I said, hop over gates, through yards, and we're coming out 7 blocks away laughing. So like I said, that night, it was me and George Oliver, and I hit the police car with the brick, and we're getting chased by the cops. We come out through the yard. We're blocks and blocks and blocks away. So as we're thinking we're safe, we don't hear the detective car behind us creeping up real slow. So we turn around just in the nick of time, and we know this kid, Angelo. His house is down the corner, so we run to his house, pop the front door open, and kick his basement door open. We go down into the basement, and we're hiding. The cops didn't see us go in there. But it was like a 3-family house, and somebody upstairs had heard us kick the door open and run into the basement. So what they did was they released their dogs from their apartment down into the basement to where we were hiding. They didn't know who it was. It could have been a killer, whoever, a rapist. They didn't know it was little kids running from the cops. So we hear the dogs running down the stairs, and there's nowhere to hide. And these are Doberman pinschers. Now there's pipes in the ceiling, so we jump up on the pipes and we're hanging up there. So the owner of the dog comes down, he calls the dogs off. The police are already there. The guy says that we broke into his house and he caught us trying to rob all his toolboxes and bikes, which was not true. We were just hiding from the police because we just broke the window of the cop car. So now the cops know me and George Oliver. They arrest us. They bring us down 8 Erie. So we're like, no big deal. They'll call one of our parents and we're going home. So the cop comes in as me and George Oliver in a bullpen, and he goes to George, you're going to the youth house. Matt, you're going home. And we have never been to the youth house at this point. So he's scared to death, and I'm laughing. That sucks for you. I'm going home. 2 minutes later, the cop comes in. You're going with him. We couldn't get in touch with nobody. So I'm like, motherfucker, this is my first time ever going to the youth house, and I'm with George Oliver. And we're scared to death. We just heard horror stories about this youth house. It's in Secaucus, New Jersey. So we get in a cop car. And the worst part about it was driving to the youth house, which was in Secaucus. We actually passed my house, so I'm in the back of the cop car with George Oliver, and I see the light on in the living room, and know my mother's right up there, and I'm driving past the house going to the youth house for my first time. So get to Secaucus Youth House, and there's a huge billboard out front, and it says, "Welcome to the youth house, beds available," like it's a hotel. Unbelievable. So you get there, the cops bring us in, do the paperwork, they bring us in this room to change out of our street clothes. So everybody in the youth house uniform is orange, right? They have 1 orange left and 1 green left. Of course, George gets the orange one, so he's normal. I get the green one. Now everybody's calling me Green Machine, right? So now everybody knows the worst thing you could do is when you go into the youth house is coming after 10 o'clock at night and waking everybody up from being brought in by the police. It's like 3 in the morning now. So when we coming in, the doors are open, the lights are coming on, the cops bring us to the bed, to our bed, showing us our beds. And the cop who brings us in, a white cop, this scumbag, goes, listen, everybody. He woke everybody up in the whole youth house and said, listen, you see this white kid right here? Don't nobody fuck with him. He's a professional boxer. He can break your jaw with a slap. And he's in here for robbing a black lady. I'm like, oh no. All of the black dudes stood up. And the way dorm 1 it was a huge dorm, right? And there was a gate splitting it in half. On this side, it's all the black kids and the white kids. And on the other side of the gate, they kept the Spanish. Their beds were over there. So like, the Spanish couldn't be with the black at nighttime because the little kids, they were going nuts, throwing batteries and everything. So for some reason, the Spanish kids got it the worst at that point. So they slept on the other side of the gate. So we go in there, and now everybody thinks that me and George were in there for robbing a little old black lady, and that I'm a professional boxer. I can slap people and break their jaws. So the whole dorm stands up, and then thank God there was this kid Heathcliff, right? Oh, by the way, the cop said that me and George Olive from Newark, and that was the worst because at that time, Newark and Jersey City were beefing really bad. So if you were from Newark and you got locked up in Jersey City, the SEALs would say, yo, these kids are from Newark, and then you would get murdered. You would get Wu-Tang straight up. So the cops that said this stuff about me to the kids told these kids that we were from Newark, and then they got up and we were gonna get murdered. They were gonna jump us. There was 30 on this side. The Puerto Ricans were locked in the gate, so it's 30 versus me and George. But there was this one kid, Heathcliff, that I knew from school back in the day. He says, Matt? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, nah, they're not from Newark. Those are the cops. He literally saved my life. And that was the first time I was in a youth house. And what happened the next day, we went to court. They woke us up 6 a.m, get ready, showered. They bring you in the van. They take you to Newark Avenue, to the courthouse, to the juvenile courthouse. And the kid, George Oliver, I shouldn't say his name, George, but the judge says, I'm going to give you another bite of the apple. You get another chance. Do you have anything left to say? And he said, yeah, I had nothing to do with it. He's the one who stole the bicycles, and we never stole the bike. I get remanded. So the judge remanded me and gave me a 30-day court date for my next time I was supposed to appear in court. So he went home, said that I stole the bikes, which we never stole any bikes. Tells the judge that that it was all my fault. I'm the ringleader. The judge remands me back to the youth house and gives me a 30-day date for my next court date. So I'm in the youth house for 30 days. I don't know anything. This is my my first time there, and it was just insane. And the crazy thing was, this was back in the 80s, and every day in the morning the SEALs would give each inmate a cigarette, a Newport 100. This is how long ago it was. You got 3 cigarettes a day. If you swept the floor, you'd get another one. But now I'm hearing these rumors going around about this warden. He's been in there for like 20-something years. And what it is he makes friends with he likes skinny Spanish boys from what I'm hearing. Like he'll take one that, has nothing, came from nothing, and he'll give him some commissary and stuff, and then you'll see him calling the kid, the Angel whatever, over the intercom and, come to the warden's office, and then you don't see that kid for the whole day. And supposedly what was going on was he was having sex with these kids. He was a pedophile. And then something happened years later. He wound up getting caught, and they found out, and then supposedly he went to jail, thank God. Well, 30 days later, I'm still in dorm 1, which is the worst dorm. I'm in there with people that killed their mothers, set houses on fires, like 12-year-old rapists. It was a nightmare. 30 days later, I go to court. My mother's there. They finally, released me to my mother, and that was the first time I was in the youth house. And the crazy thing about it is the police, they knew us. They knew all of us. They were from Jersey City too. We knew them all. Most of the cops went to high school with my mother. And they knew the very first time that they sent you to the youth house, that was it. You were never, ever getting let go ever again. Anytime they arrested you, you were going straight to the youth house. They didn't want to put somebody in the youth house because they know it's going to ruin their life, It's the worst thing a cop could do but after this, now since I got put in the youth house that one time, that's it. Anytime I ever get arrested, I am not getting released to my mother. They're just doing the paperwork and I'm going straight to the youth house. And literally, that's what happened. I never got a break ever again. Every single time I got arrested, I was sent to the youth house. It was just a nightmare. And that began my journey into the abyss of my criminally insane life. I'm going to give you part 2 of the show tomorrow. But everybody, please leave a comment. This is my first time doing this, so I'm sorry if I'm a little nervous. Subscribe to the channel and hit the like button on your way in. Thank you. See you tomorrow.